If you spend enough time watching self-build videos, you'll hear the same advice repeated over and over. We've probably told you the same things too, like have a contingency in place and set a clear budget. These are important, but don't worry, we're not going over that same basic advice in this video. Instead, we're going over 6 top tips that most self-builders don't seem to know, but they absolutely should. Number 1, health and safety is your duty, not the builder's. Most people assume that health and safety is simply the builder's responsibility, but under the Construction, Design and Management Regulations of 2015, also often referred to as CDM 2015, domestic clients do have duties. Those duties can transfer to the contractor or the principal designer, but only if appointments are made clearly and properly in writing. To put it a bit more simply, if you don't make these roles explicit, responsibilities can default in ways you didn't intend. And if there's a dispute, an accident, or an insurance query, suddenly paperwork becomes very important. Financially, this matters because it can cause issues like confusion over who is responsible for site safety, delays caused by unclear roles, insurance complications, and liability exposure. You don't want to discover ambiguity mid-build, so when you are appointing your main contractor, you need to make sure that you ensure their role as principal contractor is clearly stated in writing. If there is a principal designer, ensure that appointment is documented, and keep copies of all appointment letters in a dedicated build file. Sometimes it's best to just simply ask who is carrying the principal contractor duties under CDM, and then get this in writing so you're all clear. Number 2, budget for the admin of discharging planning conditions. Many permissions come with pre-commencement conditions, and those need to be formally discharged before you can lawfully begin your build. You should know that part, but most people make the mistake of budgeting for the reports like ecology, draining, and tree surveys, but forget that discharging conditions themselves take time, professional input, application fees, and sequencing. There are formal discharge application fees in England and similar processes elsewhere in the UK, so the exact impact of this is dependent on your location. Let's say you assume you can start in June, but conditions aren't discharged until July or even August. You may face contract rescheduling, lost time slots, extended rental, storage costs, loan timing adjustments. That 4-week delay with a discharge has many knock-on effects. To help with this, the moment planning is granted, we recommend you create a simple conditions tracker, which lists each condition, what's required, who's responsible, the submission date, and expected decision time. And don't book groundworks until pre-commencement conditions are confirmed discharged. Number 3, you only get one shot at VAT reclaim. VAT reclaim with self-build is handled casually far too often. The VAT deadline was also changed so that all builds completing on or after the 5th of December 2023 have 6 months to submit their VAT reclaim under the DIY House Builder scheme. Before that, it was 3 months, so this is more generous, but trust us that time moves quickly. Also, crucially, you only get one chance to claim, so if it's late, incomplete, or rejected due to invoice errors, that's potentially thousands of pounds lost. People often treat VAT reclaim as something to think about after they move in, but by then, invoices are missing, VAT numbers are unclear, some paperwork isn't valid, bank statements are hard to match. Instead, we recommend that from day one, you create a VAT folder that's both physical and digital. For every relevant purchase, you can then keep a valid VAT invoice, supplier VAT numbers, correct name and addresses, and proof of payment. Then, 6 to 8 weeks before completion, you can do a VAT mock audit yourself. For this, we recommend you pick 10 invoices at random and check if they meet HMRC standards, and fix any issues while suppliers still remember you. The moment you have a likely completion window, diary your VAT reclaim deadline so you can treat it like a project milestone and plan ahead. Number 4, photograph everything. For this, we don't mean pretty pictures for social media. This is relating to everything that will later be hidden. For example, once walls close and floors go down, you lose visibility of things like pipe runs, cable routes, insulation placement, damp-proof membranes, drainage positioning, structural details. Then years later, you might want to install solar panels or add a bathroom, drill into a wall or investigate a leak. Without this documentation, you're guessing, so you have the added time and money for those investigations and risk with unnecessarily cutting into finished walls. We recommend you create a hidden works archive you can then visit at all stages of your build. like foundations, drainage, insulation, first fix electrics, first fix plumbing. And at each of these stages, you'll want to take photos of wide photos for context, close-ups for detail, and label files with date and stage. Store everything in a cloud folder and future you will be incredibly grateful. Number 5, price your utilities strategy early. Utilities are one of the most underestimated parts of self-build. People treat them as something that happens towards the end. But electricity, water, and drainage often dictate when you can start, when you can power tools, when inspections happen, and when the house is habitable. And connection lead times can be long. Also, if utilities aren't aligned with your build program, trades can't proceed, you hire generators, you extend rental, you delay completion, and ultimately you just spend more money. So, to solve this, before breaking ground, we recommend that you get formal utility connection quotes, confirm realistic lead times, decide on temporary versus permanent supply, and align connection dates with build stages. Number 6, write a weather buffer into your planning. Our final tip is something that so many people don't budget properly for. It's a relative no brainer to add a contingency for money, but adding a contingency for time is just as important, especially when we are UK based and the climate can be unpredictable or generally rainy. Bricklaying may be delayed completely if you're faced with heavy rain, and even high winds can cause work like roofing to stop. All tradespeople can just need to work slower across the winter months. Time overruns can be a pain as they lead to extended rent, storage costs, site insurance extensions, labour rescheduling, and loan timing adjustments. Even a 3-week delay can ripple through your entire budget, so you need to specifically add a weather buffer into your timeline. For major external phases, we recommend you build in 3 to 6 weeks depending on season, extra rental margin, and extended insurance allowance. If you're looking for more tips on how to make your self-build run smoothly, speak to our expert team at Mayflower Mortgage today.